Hello. So excited to be with you as this year is wrapping up. I cannot believe it. So, first of all, happy holidays to you. And yesterday was the solstice. And so I have been in deep contemplation. I've had a little time by myself. My daughters actually left yesterday morning at 5 o'clock in the morning to go to San Diego. So, I've had some time to settle in, and I have some really exciting things I want to share with you. And yesterday, and I want to invite you guys into this too. So I'll tell you a little bit about my process of how I typically like to wrap up a year so I can fully cross the threshold into a new year. If you're new to me, my name is Donnell Davis. I'm a channel, a healer, and a future self embodiment mentor. I help you heal forward, which is my healing modality I created, so that you can have the love, success, whatever it is you desire right now. Okay, so yesterday I started thinking about how wildly profound the last 5 years have been. So if you're watching the replay to this video, my question to you, I'd love to hear it in the comments, is do you feel like a completely different person since 2020? Boy, I look back at 2020 until now, and I am in complete awe of how much my life has changed. I think for everybody, 2020 was quite the awakening when we were stuck at home and didn't have all the distractions that we are used to. It allowed us to go deeper within ourselves and to really see what wasn't working in our lives. And it was so loud and so obvious, right? And so that was the year I ended an 8.5 year relationship. That was the year that I found my voice, that I was in my inner authority. And that was the year in October, that October was such a transformative time because that was the month that I decided to end my relationship. I saw the truth of the relationship. And even deeper, I did a really profound medicine journey. I had a client fly out from Chicago. I took her to the shaman that I have worked with on and off for years in Santa Barbara, who actually works with like Will Smith and Jada Pickett Smith, Ishmael. And she asked me to journey with her. I used to either hold space, or I'd say I give my clients options like, do you want me to journey with you? And she was like, I want you to journey with me. And I was like, okay, well, I am going through a crazy time in my life. And if I'm going to journey with you, I need to let you kind of in on what's happening because I don't want that to spill into our container. So to like name the fact that I was getting ready to end this relationship, that I was going through a lot. And so, anyways, I did a hero's dose of psilocybin, and I did MDMA before, and it was all with the shaman, and she did as well. And it changed my life. It absolutely, hands down, changed my life. And so that was the year of reclamation for many, I believe. And for me, doing that journey, especially, I left behind very worn grooves of codependency that had been in my body viscerally since I was probably an infant. And I was able to walk a new pathway and never look back. I've never ever experienced codependency like I did before. I mean, obviously I've done years of work on myself and looking at my trauma and trauma bonding and all these things, but that helped me create new neural pathways. And so it inspired me with my work. You don't always have to do a hero's dose of psilocybin to have major, things happen. But I was at a time in my life where I needed to move the needle very quickly. If you are interested in that, I do have somebody that I highly, highly recommend. That I'm happy to give you her information, that is located in California. So reach out to me for that if that's something that you're interested in. And then, we moved into 2021, and I'm sharing this for you all for a reason, because I am going to be holding an incredible ceremony on January 9th called the Future Self Threshold. And one of the things that I have recognized in this very short window of time of contemplation these last couple days is how much my life has changed and what were the very tools and things that helped me do that. And one of them was futuring, hands down. It's what I do in all my programs. I'm a futuring mentor. I've gone through a certification process to do this. So I learned, and then, of course, my life experience, like nothing is as good as life experience. People can teach manifesting, and behind closed doors, they don't know how to do that and create the life of their dreams. But I do, and I'm going to show you through this. But I'm sharing this because I want you to think about your years that you've had and how you have transformed. And I want you to join me on January 9th for and it's going to be about 2.5 hour ceremony where I am going to help you not only close out 2025, like really, really leave it behind, extract the lessons, extract all the beauty of it, who you were when you started 2025, how you end, and then really what you want to bring into 2026. And then we're going to do a deeper, deeper hypnosis where you are going to connect with your end of the year future self. Okay. This work that I do typically with clients, where I take them into deep hypnosis, I've been trained and certified in this, where I help you meet your subconscious and I help you really access a different brainwave state. You go into theta, delta type of brainwaves where you are so deep. And the longer that we're in it for, so that's why this is a longer ceremony, the more information you receive. And this is information coming straight from your higher self, your subconscious, the genius aspect of you that is connected to the quantum field, that already has information about the life that you're meant to lead, the highest timeline. So I'll go into that in a little bit, but typically this type of ceremony, only my private clients are privy to this type of work that I do. And it's because we're in a very beautiful container. The hour itself, the price, if I'm just being honest, starts at $1,000 an hour for this type of work. But I'm doing this ceremony, and there's going to be an early bird for 222, but it's going to be 333 because it's going to be an intimate group and I'm going to take you deep. So I'll go into that in a little bit, because not only are you going to be able to record on your phone what your subconscious is saying, you're going to go, I have all the questions I want to ask you to really extract from you who your future self is at the end of 2026. And then we're going to reverse engineer that. We're going to go back every single month and you're going to feel into the energy of it. I'm going to support you in getting the details. And then you're going to create basically your highest timeline blueprint for 2026. Nobody else is doing this work. This is innovative. It's exciting to me. And the reason why I love this so much is because you are the one following your own destiny, your own information. I can tell you, oh yeah, I see this for you and this would be great. But like ultimately, it's you deciding for yourself and getting to taste and feel that energy and saying, yeah, I want that. And I'm gonna figure out. And this is the thing. You don't know the how. You just have to be able to step into the energy. So it is going to be incredible because not only are you going to have a recording, but you're going to have a document that I'm going to help you create through ChatGPT or Claude, whatever one you use. We're going to use a little technology. I'm going to pull this all together and you're going to have a manifesto for the year. And so back to my story, I will get into a little bit more in a moment about this ceremony. But when I moved into 2021, I was a free bird. I was single and I got this incredible, beautiful condo with my daughters. I was super excited. And I decided that that was going to be my year of healing. I was going to heal myself. I'd already been on a very deep healing journey for 4 years. My former and I had had a big disruption happen in 2016 where he had cheated. So for the last 4 years that I was with him, I was already in the energy of like, is this going to work or not? Like, let me go all in and try and do the work and work on myself and see what I can do. But I got to a point by 2020 where I exhausted all my options. which is what you should always do when you're trying to create a new reality and figure something out. Exhaust all your options, suffocate the system so you know wholeheartedly, undoubtedly that you're moving into the next thing for you. So 2021, when my girls were with their dad, I traveled all over. I went to Italy and stayed in Tuscany, and I saw my best friend in Rome. I took my girls to Tulum for a big all you can, what were those all you can eat, all you can drink vacations, with a really dear family friend of mine. I went to Scottsdale, Chicago. I went to Sedona. I mean, I traveled and had so much fun. I went all in on me. I hadn't had a year like that in ages, and my secret magic sauce is travel. And so had an incredible time. I worked with a relationship coach. I wanted to heal the wounds. I wanted to make sure I was seeing things clearly. I didn't want to bring in the same type of relationships that I had in the past. I knew that I was willing to do the work to change. And boy, did I. And at the end of 2021, in November, I met Ricky, who is now my husband, who I just married in November of 2025 this year. Okay. So 2021 was the year of adventure. What was it for you? 20 22 was a really fun year of kind of really stabilizing into communion with Ricky, communion within myself. I was falling in love and I was falling hard. We went to Peru. We celebrated his 40th birthday there. We traveled to Las Vegas for a retreat together. We just did so many fun things together that year. We deepened in our love and we decided, okay, this is the real thing. We're going to work at making this happen. And the reason I say that is because I lived in San Diego and he lived in Boise, Idaho, and we were going back and forth every 2 weeks to see each other. So that year, I had to make a really big decision. I had to burn the boats. And I will tell you, it was really tough because I'll never forget, it was Cinco de Mayo of 2022. I was coming to Boise. We were downtown and we had just gotten back from Peru where he had declared his love for me. He was like, I want to spend the rest of my life with you. Like, I love you. You are, you're it for me, and vice versa, me for him. But because I'm an Aries rising and I move quickly and I had talked to my attorney, I knew if I were going to ever make any changes to the way the custody order was, which was all based in San Diego with my girls, that I was going to have to file it sooner than later. Because she said it could take about 6 months to make any changes to the custody order. Well, I came back and I was like, I got to do it because who knows how long it's going to take. I want to take action on this. So I filed it. And I remember on Cinco de Mayo, this is when I still used to drink. I had a little tequila. We were talking, and he told me, I told him that I filed it, and it was like, what? Like, it was like everything it's like all the air went out of the room. It was super silent. It was like, wait, what? You filed it? Like, this is happening? And I'm like, yeah, like nothing's happening yet, but like I had to file it because if I don't, I don't know how long this is going to take. So it was a really defining moment because I could feel his fear. I could feel all of a sudden I was like, oh my God, I'm betting on this. And wait, is he having second thoughts about our relationship? Like, what's happening right now? And it was just scary, you guys. Like, I'm sure anytime you're in a relationship and you're like burning the boats essentially and nothing had really happened, but we both knew in our hearts that we had just set forth something in motion. And I knew our love was so powerful. And so that leads me to 2023. So 2022 was communion, like really coming into communion with him, my girls, like just really having an incredible time of still traveling, still deepening in love. 2023, though, woo, that was a year of bravery. It didn't happen in 6 months. I wound up having to go through all of 2023, all the way to the end of it in October to go to court. And so many things happened and heated up during that time. And I wanted to be with Ricky. I wanted it sooner than later, but the court date was what it was. And so I had an entire year. So, like, mind you, I said May. So this is turning out to be 18 months almost later that I'm going to court. I was devastated. One of my best friends was getting married in Mexico. I couldn't go. It was the same week as my court date. I had to buckle down that year in 2023. I was financially challenged because I had to come up with thousands and thousands of dollars to bet on my faith that I could make changes to my custody order. And I won't go into all the details of that, but I'm just sharing this with you because when you think about why do you future, why do you bet on things, why do you have to change your identity, all these kinds of things, it in theory, right? In theory, it's like, oh yeah, okay, this is why I'm doing these things. But there is a real level of embodiment that has to take place for this to happen for you. If there's an area of your life that you want something to change, like, are you willing to change who you are? Have you burned the boats? Have you gone all in? Would you spend upwards of, let's say minimum $50,000 for your dream to come true, not knowing it will come true, like literally putting it into this like faith account? And it was way more than that financially, by the way. That's just like, I'm just asking just to give you like a sense of like, would I put money in knowing it's either going to be to like be like Kindle for a bonfire or it's going to pay off and give you what you want, right? Okay, this is the level. It doesn't always, it's not always going to be this intense, but this is what I'm talking about, burning the boats. So I go through 2023, and my biggest lesson of besides bravery was learning how to be present. Because what happens when you're in love with somebody that lives in a different city? Well, you're always like, I just wish I was with him. I wish he was here. And I had this deep realization from my future self at the beginning of the year. And it was this: enjoy where you're at. Like, be here right now. Don't try and be somewhere that you're not. Don't try and live, and be unhappy with the now moment. And what that taught me was like when I was in San Diego, be in San Diego, have fun with your friends, treat it like, what if this is the last year I ever live in San Diego? Mind you, I'd lived in San Diego. That was my 33rd year of living in San Diego. Treat everything like it's a rich experience, not an experience where you're like, I don't want to be here. Because I'll tell you what, it was one of the most intense, most challenging years of my life. Like going through that process to fight, to move. And it was so much deeper than that. I can't go into all the details, but going through like claiming I wanted something and then all the challenges and trials and tribulations that ensued after that basically was the training ground for me to become the version that would be able to move and start a new life. And I was granted permission to do that with my daughters at the end of 2023. So on 11/1, I got which is a lucky number for me, which it always has been. I got permission from the courts to move, and I was moved by December 16th. So it was like boom, boom. I mean, I was saying goodbye to my friends so quick. Like that presence that I had to embody all year really got utilized when I had to say goodbye to everybody. It was insane. And it was what I wanted. It was a celebratory thing, but it was also like, oh my God, this is happening so quickly. So then I move into 2024, and that was the year of transformation. Oh my God. I haven't moved since I was 17 years old. I 33 is a master number. That's the number when Jesus died, right? 33 years old. I mean, there was something to this. There was some bigger transformation underfoot that I was not even aware of. I did not realize that moving to a new city and starting a family with my beloved and our children was the death of my former life and my community and my friends and all this stuff. And so I went through a huge ego death. I cried more that year. I was in physical pain. There was about a month and a half over the summer of that year that I was completely benched. Like I could not move. I was on the sidelines of the game, could not get in the game for the life of me. I remember I went to Peru to lead a retreat with Whitney, and I then came home and I was in so much physical pain. I wound up getting really hurt in my back. And then I was having like nerve issues down my arm. I spent thousands of dollars getting this fixed. But basically, I feel like my soul was like, hey, you need to grieve. Like, you need to let go of your former identity. And nothing's going to fix this or make this feel better until you deal with your feelings. And to make the transformation year of 2024 even more potent, when I moved, I decided to give up drinking. So I've been sober for 2 years, not because I was an alcoholic, just for health reasons and just to better myself. I wasn't making as much money. My business, it's almost like I shifted where I lived, and then all of a sudden my business shifted. So I wasn't making as much money. I wasn't as successful as I had been in prior years. My ego was like really bruised by that. I was hurting. So that meant if I wasn't as making as much money, that meant I couldn't go shopping and go get my quick fixes of like feel good. Like I couldn't go work out because I was injured. There was a period of time, I'm not even kidding, where I just had to sit in my bed and deal with my pain and work when I could and just grieve everything that I probably repressed since I was a child. So the rivers of tears of 2024 were intense. And I would not trade that year for anything, but it was extremely challenging. And it was the version of me that used to be comfortable in San Diego, all of a sudden, like I realized like I had such a comfort zone there. I wasn't comfortable anymore. I was as uncomfortable as one can get. So that was my year of transformation. And then come into this year, which has been a very different year, and it's been a year of integration. And really starting some new things, still kind of tidying up and letting go of some old things, getting married, which was extremely joyful and abundant. Really, I started to cook this year. I started to learn new things about myself. I started stepping more into my feminine, even more so than I'd already done before. Ricky's really in his masculine. So it was like we have this beautiful way that we operate together and the way we run our family. And I've been decorating our home. And it's just been a totally different year. My business started to get new life again. I started to have fun. I started coming back into my power, but not from the dynamic and the energetics of who I used to be, not from that hustle and that push and that force, but more from like alignment and loving myself and self-worth. Because when nothing works for you, like 2024, your attachment to things changes. And so there's more, it's like a huge emptying out. So there's more opportunity for you to come from a new way of being, which is futuring, which is how you change your whole world is you have to change the inner energetic template that you've been operating from. So I it's been such a journey, and I'm so curious what your journey has been, and your words are going to be different and you're going to have extracted different things, but I share this with you because it's important. These last 5 years have been transformative. They've been refining us for 2026 and 2027. 2026, we have wild astrology, definitely new um, planets going into new signs that they haven't been in thousands of years. So there'll be a very different texture and feel to 2026. And I want you to be prepared. And I don't want you to be prepared according to anybody else's manifesto or just come up with some word and hope that like you are able to make this word happen. I love words, by the way. I've had consistency for the last 2 years, and next year is going to be focused, but that's just like a teeny bit of the work, right? So I created this future self threshold that is not about just having like a goal or a plan or pressure. This is about having the ability to listen deeply to your soul, okay? Because we are going to go through a big transition in 2026 once again. And I want you to be prepared. And I want it to be the best year of your life because it is a year of wonderful, amazing manifestation. And the way I'm going to facilitate this, like I said, is we are going to wrap up and kind of review a little bit of 2025, but we're going to do some hypnosis work. So hypnosis isn't sleep. It's focused, relaxed awareness. The longer you stay in hypnosis, the deeper the brainwave state. So my goal is to take you from beta, which is where you're at during the day, to alpha, theta, and maybe even delta. When you're in theta and delta, it gives you access to pattern recognition, memory, creative, and intuition. You don't lose intelligence, you access a different intelligence than you're able to during the day. And you're able to work with your subconscious, which is, for better lack of any other word, it's your genius. Because the subconscious holds everything that's already happened for you. It holds your emotional memory, your somatic wisdom, and your nonlinear knowing. So, this is where insight comes from. This is where the breakthroughs happen. This is where your genius really lives. And it's able to access the quantum field. The quantum field is the energy all around us, it's where your future lives. It's where your past has been. And so we're not going to be focusing on the past necessarily. We're going to be focusing on the future. But your subconscious speaks in images and sensations and emotions and words that arrive fully formed. So this is why answers feel obvious after being in deep states of consciousness. And my intention for you in our future self threshold ceremony is to have you access your highest timeline. Okay. So the future exists as probability. Your future self is a coherent timeline. When the body experiences that future, the nervous system reorganizes itself, decisions become clearer, and alignment happens naturally. So we're going to reverse engineer, and this is going to work because the body understands coherence. The mind follows the sensation. So we're letting the future speak first, and by doing that, it removes any force or like, I need this to happen this way. It's like you're softening, but you're also expanding into the biggest and highest timeline that you can, because we're not talking about like, oh, I hope I get this car. It's like, no, like deeper, bigger things for you exist in your highest timeline. And the car might be part of it. And in order for this to work, because I told you I only do this with my one-on-one clients, I charge a lot of money to do this, a minimum at least 1,000 an hour. But what I'm going to help you do is you're going to have your phone and you're going to hit record, whether you have an AI recording thing or you just do a voice memo on your phone, and you're going to speak out loud, which is going to anchor in your subconscious. Recording is going to create a living artifact. Your future guidance becomes something that's tangible, revisitable, and very embodied. This isn't external advice. This isn't advice from, oh, I think you should do this, like somebody else telling you how you should live your life. It's self-generated wisdom, okay? And this is going to become a blueprint for your year, because we're going to go month after. First, we're going to look at in the totality who you're going to be at the end of 2026. And then we're going to go month by month into intuitive sensing. So we're going to look at the emotional tone, the energetic themes, and any inner shifts you might be experiencing. Once again, this isn't planning, it's listening. This creates for you self-trust, nervous system safety, and coherent action. You move with the year instead of chasing it. So that's why I created this future self threshold. It's going to be intimate. It's going to be a small group. It's depth focused. What's going to make it really different than anything out there? I've already told you how innovative it is. Nobody's telling you who to be or what to do. You're going to receive your own guidance. It's January 9th. And you don't need to decide who you'll be this year. You need to remember who you already are. When you enter the year from that place, the path will reveal itself. Effort is going to soften, and then your soul alignment leads. And when you take action from that place, things come together. So I'm going to share in the comments the link, but I know it's going to be absolutely incredible. And like I said, for a very short period of time, just because I'm feeling wildly generous and I want everybody to experience this, I'm offering 111 off. It's 222 for a very short, for that early bird. And then it's going to be 333, which I still feel is a very deep discount for this type of level of work that you're going to receive. So I would highly suggest, whether you do this or not, that you take some time and you inventory the last 5 years. And I want you to think about your intentionality going into those years. Like, were you intentional about what you wanted to create? Can you look back over these 5 years and be like, holy cow, like my life has changed. I've become the person I talked about 5 years ago. Yes, I have. That's why I teach this. And that's why I have this level of confidence and embodiment in me, And I want you to experience that. I want you to look back at the end of 2026 and be like, oh my God, like the stuff I said, most of it has happened because you became the vibrational match to it. So take some time, do your inventory, join me for the Future Self Threshold. It's going to be incredible. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out. And I hope you have beautiful holidays, and I will see you guys soon. Take care.